Hey everyone, Bits and Bobs coming at you, end of the week. Nice to have you with us. Alongside me in studio, Will Slattery, hello.
Hey Joe.
And first time in a while, Conan Doherty here as well. Hey Conan.
Long time, first time. How are you?
Well indeed. One email in straight away. Hi Joe, love the show. Enjoyed the spiciness of Bits and Bobs on Friday last, which spilled over this week. This was Dan McDonnell. Even I, though, I do think it crossed a line slightly a couple of times, actually.
What do you think that's in reference to?
Don't know.
It could be anything.
I'd say Dan.
One of Dan's many grenades.
A question, though. Where is Ronan? Where is Conan?
Wow.
Yours in sport, Sean Paul.
Good man, Sean Paul.
Conan is... Conan's right in your ears right now. And Ronan is once again on annual leave. I feel he's done something in the negotiation here. I'm just convinced he has more annual leave than us.
Well, he approves it, so he just
Yeah.
he approves his own annual leave. So I think he can make his own rules.
Yeah, he's a man of mystery. Like, obviously, like I thought his holiday was Colombia, but he's on another 2-week holiday.
Yeah,
and obviously, he, people will know, I think, Ronan's back and forth to Munich a bit. So he works from Munich and then does stints here and then Munich. And that's all fine.
And an international man.
Yeah.
He's a man of the world.
But I don't even know where he is.
He was given...
He's been in Mexico.
Was he not given food recommendations?
He went to Oasis in Mexico. He went to like Mexican wrestling. He went to a Mexican football game. He's having like this worldwide...
He's not in Guatemala. I thought he was given food recommendations for a taco truck there or something. Keep an eye on this guy's socials.
He told me... I don't think I'm portraying any confidence this year. He told me that earlier in the year when he was telling people he was going on holidays, he said, I'm going to Colombia and Mexico, to make it sound like it was one trip. To ward off people being like, wait, you're going to Colombia and going back and then going to Mexico.
Maybe in his chat with HR, he said, and by the way, I have some pre-booked trips to Mexico, Colombia. That's okay, right? And they thought, sure.
Yeah, it's one trip.
We'll do anything to get this guy in.
Separate trips. Anything to get him in. God, that'd put you to shame. I think I've gone to Mallorca every year for the last decade.
So we can't answer where is Ronan. Conan's right here, but we don't know where Ronan is.
I didn't know where he was. I just, busy, and he was like, by the way, I'm off next week. I thought, cool.
An undisclosed location near the Mexican border. That's what I can divulge.
Up to no good. Fair play to him. And he went to Oasis
in Mexico City.
Wow.
And he's coming back for the NFL game as well
on Sunday.
Yeah, he's doing a podcast with Shane from the NFL game on Sunday. So
flying back out.
And he'll claim that day back as well for his annual leave.
Of course he will. Unbelievable. Right, a full interrogation of Ronan. Imminent. Bumper weekend of sport coming up. Ryder Cup is ongoing as we record. Premier League, League of Ireland on this evening. Premier League starts with Brentford United, intriguingly, and then culminates Newcastle Arsenal. Had a long why does Joe hate Arsenal email, actually, which I really don't. I'll get back to that emailer. URC is back, Rugby Championship, penultimate weekend of the Rugby Championship. New Zealand, Australia, 6:05 a.m, Will, tomorrow morning.
I'll be up, as will Billy.
Women's World Cup final, England, Canada, and, of course, NFL Dublin, which Ronan Mullen will be attending.
That's a weekend.
Big, isn't it?
That's a weekend. That's why we do this, Joe. We talk all week to get to the weekend.
To watch it all. Yeah, we try and keep the Friday bits and bobs a little bit evergreen. Our data, we know what these people are having for breakfast. Tells us lots of you will listen to this on a Sunday or even a Monday morning, which is
it builds until about Monday afternoon. I would say,
yeah.
That puts a lot of pressure on, especially when you say, who's going to win this match on Sunday? And if someone's listening on a Monday.
I might start doing on Quiet Fridays quick predictions just to really expose people. Yeah. So it does mean we can't talk about any of those things, which is difficult. Keane pointed out, short time, first time, your listener James was singing your praises on your pronunciation of Rafinha on today's Bits and Bobs, when only yesterday, Joe, you pronounced Rocky Balboa like Athletic Bilbao.
Joe.
Obrigado, Keane.
I heard that.
I was in the train station listening. I listened back, see, I made a really good point there. I want to hear that. And I heard it. I didn't hear it at the time. And I was like, how did that slip under the net? I'm a big Rocky man.
So am I. Sorry.
Bilbao.
Are you? Honestly, but how could you have called him Rocky Bilbao?
Because you know yourself, there's times here where you talk and words come out of your mouth, and then when you're in the comfort and listening on your headphones, you're like, Jesus, you said that arseways. It just is hard. Like small, tiny things. The other day I was on to Dave Zyron about the GAA and I said it's a non-for-profit. And I was driving home, I was like, the fuck is non-for-profit? It's a non-profit. These things happen. And I was just searching for a Rocky, Ivan Drago. Is it Ivan or Ivan? It doesn't matter.
I thought it was Ivan.
And it just came out, Rocky Bilbao. Yeah, I know it's Bilbao.
No, but I was just surprised you didn't correct yourself. Did you hear yourself say it?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, Dave Zyron was a tough partner. So I was just getting a lot of stuff out.
The Rocky Bilbao wasn't with Dave Zyron.
Oh, who was it with?
Was it not with
It's a
you?
football show.
Yeah, it was with Colin.
It was the three of us.
No excuse then. You're not tough talking.
Well, you're in on this as well. You're not getting away from this. We're all
Sorry.
culpable here.
No, I didn't even notice I said it.
I was like, when did that come up with Dave Zyron?
Yeah. Scrambled. No, I did not notice it. And often you don't notice it and then you listen back afterwards and I can't tell you the sense of self-loathing that brings out. You're like, you fucking idiot. Yeah, what?
Of course, I'm flawless, so that's never happened to me.
Well, indeed.
I wouldn't have come across that.
Yeah. But really appreciate the email. Appreciate the email, Keen, pointing it out nonetheless. It's just what you want when you open the inbox of a morning. Neil made the point just on, this week or last week, about whether or not GAA players should get the extra money from the government, the grant. Neil W. made a point. I mostly read out this email, though, because he has taken our request not to skip past the being nice about us at the start part. This is how an email should start. Can I just start, he says, by stating the life-changing impact you and your podcast have had on my life, the lives of my family, and likely the wider community. Also, long time, first time.
That's how you get read out.
That is.
Thank you, Neil.
I have a tear in my eye. Listen to that.
Neil works in intercounty setups, actually. He's kind of S&C area. And he just made the brief suggestion, professional athletes, i.e. the rugby players in Ireland, avail of tax relief on their earnings for up to, I think, 10 years of their career. Surely some possible solution to the funding of players here is to utilise the tax system to provide benefit to those involved, is one suggestion. Yeah, maybe.
I think they've looked at that.
People are in different amounts.
I think they found it was unworkable, but I think I remember reading Colin Keyes when the grant thing came out, and he said that was something they did look at. But I just think there was too much grey areas about earnings and
students not paying tax.
Yeah, there was various obstacles to that.
Again, I just read it out for the intro, for the first few.
Sorry to ruin it.
Out of nothing here, apropos of nothing. I can't say that anymore ever since.
And more besides.
Someone pointed, yeah. G says, belatedly sat down, he's very belated, sat down to watch the much acclaimed Ted Lasso. Much acclaimed, he puts in capitals, being the impetus. What kind of garbage is this? Lame. It is not funny, at all. Have you honestly laughed once at this quote-unquote comedy? Predictable. The footballers are caricature characters. Very disappointed. Will not be continuing. G.
What's his name? Is G? That's a good email, G. I only watched the first couple of episodes and I stopped because I didn't think it was very good. And apparently, my big pet peeve, it gets really good in the second season.
Oh, I don't.
How much time do people think I have when people tell me that?
Well, based on how much sport you watch,
no time,
endless time.
No time, exactly.
It's obviously not very good, Ted Lasso. I've finished it.
Yeah.
Is it still ongoing? Oh, they're shooting a new series.
But that's not obvious from the way people talk about it at all. People make it out that it's a wholesome, hilarious.
Well, it is. It's wholesome.
It's fun for all the family.
I really
That's
enjoy
what
it.
it is, yeah.
But I would never recommend it. Do you know, I enjoy Britney Spears sometimes song, but I would never say to somebody, you need to listen to this.
Yeah.
Do you know, it's a song that I'll just enjoy myself and I'll carry on with my life.
Drive by and Britney, like.
It's a guilty kind of
guilty pleasure.
It's easy viewing. It's inoffensive. It is one for all the family generally. Time with certain kids' ages, maybe one or two of the things. Sorry, table. Yeah. I think the redeeming quality I would give it. You can forgive a lot of the fair points G makes. It has a certain heart. You know the way Scrubs back in the day would often finish with a nice little kind of gut punch of emotion towards the end. He'd knit it all together and you'd be like, You'd feel something. I think Ted Lasso has moments where you feel a certain warmth.
Same guy. Rated.
It's the same guy.
Yeah, Bill Lawrence.
You're joking.
I thought that's why you said it.
No.
That's brilliant. Fair play to you.
You're joking.
Yeah. He's behiund both of them.
One trick pony.
TV buff.
He's
obviously playing you like a fiddle and has been for years.
This is very Lawrence-esque.
That's unbelievable. Stop.
Yeah.
Wow. Of all the things I could have picked, I had no idea that.
Did you?
I on my life. I don't look at who creates Scrubs and remember it for like 20 years later. Yeah. Oh, it's the same formula. It's the same formula.
That is great.
That is unbelievable. And much like Scrubs, which was funnier, I think it was though. I haven't watched it in a long time.
It holds up. I watched the Colin Farrell episode recently. It was quite funny.
Okay. Much like that, even an average episode, if there's a bit of heart, little dose of warmth, then the character arcs are wayward types and come good and redeem themselves. Roy Keane, will surprise you with moments of warmth and generosity, and it's that I think is what allows you to forgive the absolute middle of the road lameness of it.
Yeah, the problem is that it's it's in quote unquote a real world. I remember reading an article before criticising it, suggesting that it didn't reflect what a football club was like or how a football club is run. It's like, if you accept that, if you accept the sort of bombastic nature of it, and just allow yourself that somebody has created a fictional world here, you can get into that. I mean, like Harry Potter's not real,
but you
accept the different laws of that universe and you get in and you enjoy it. And
it's a fair point.
Yeah, so I would just say to someone, Ted Lasso, this is not going to give you any insight into a football club, and yeah, it is a bit sort of over the top. But if you're in that mood, if you're looking for an escape,
it's got heart. Yeah, people coming together, people sort of being vulnerable,
and perhaps the lack of, I suppose, believability about some of the football stuff plays in its favour to a degree, because the basic premise is so absurd of an American football coach coming to coach in the Premier League. Obviously, if everything else was ultra realistic, and it was just like, I'm a Division 2 American football coach coaching a Premier League team, it might seem even more far fetched potentially.
It's not a gritty portrayal of Premier League life.
No, that was Dream Team. How long do we have?
Well,
it's Friday.
It's Friday. Bits and Bob's Friday has a real identity crisis.
Oh,
well, it's just it's Friday because there's some heavier topics coming up.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
Will wants to talk about Dream Team,
and but there are times even in the morning where I'm like, is that a Friday? Should we, people's weekend? It's hard. I don't know what we are. Sometimes on a Tuesday, Bits and Bobs, I know anything goes. But Friday,
is it not the opposite? Friday, I feel like anything goes.
Oh no, when anything goes is in
topic.
Heavy as you like.
Oh yeah, Friday it shouldn't be too heavy.
Well, I don't know if that's true. To talk about what's going on. We're not talking about Dream Team. Okay. We touched on this earlier, but Jer emailed in, who's a Tipperary man living in Kilkenny, and yes, the flag is still in the front window of the house. Long time, first time. Feel free to cut this down, which I did, Jer. Thank you. But he just, like we did, to be fair, noted Johnny Doyle for Alan Wood, 47 years of age, scoring 1-2 in a relegation playoff to keep Alan Wood at senior level in Kildare football is just phenomenal. He says, I'm 30 myself. The idea of playing another 17 years of club championship has me questioning my mortality. And then he says, I know we see the likes of Brendan Cummins in goal for Ballybacon. Is that an autocorrect?
Ballybacon?
Yeah, has to be. Ballybacon.
I'll get on the case when you
go on. Yeah. Ballybacon. How did this town get the name? At 50 in the Tip Intermediate Championship. Did you know Brendan Cummins was still?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
He scored a point, didn't he, recently? Yeah. In a match.
From goal.
I wasn't prepared for follow-ups.
Sorry. So I know Brendan Cummins 50 for Ballybacon in the Tip Intermediate Championship, but there is something outrageous about the fact that Johnny at 47 is doing it outfield at senior level and making a huge impact, scoring 1-2 off the bench. Is Johnny Doyle the greatest club servant we have ever seen? I reckon he has to be.
What about Mickey Linden in Down as well?
Yeah.
Right into his 50s.
Wasn't he winning? Mickey Linden was winning world titles in sprinting for the over 50s.
Yeah.
He really travelling to world championships and winning, I think, gold. Yeah. Don't quote me. Obviously, I know you. Sorry, it's just come to me now. I shouldn't be saying that. Broadcasting it, but I think he may well have won world championships in the over 50 sprinting.
Ballybacon is correct.
Ballybacon
Grange GAA club.
Right. Okay.
I don't want to take us off Johnny Doyle immediately by saying, "Well, here's somebody better." But Johnny Doyle,
It's an impossible question. Like we're not awarding Ireland's greatest club servant that we've ever seen.
it's a Friday. Who knows? Who knows what we're going to do?
Yeah, it is phenomenal. It is phenomenal. So other stuff. Is there anything on the Ryder Cup that we did see that we want to touch on? We're going to keep this evergreen.
I had one question for you, but I don't have to ask you if you don't want me to.
I do.
So obviously tomorrow was foursomes and four balls, and the pairings get talked about a lot. Like, what's your assessment of, like, I suppose, the characteristics to make a golfer better at foursomes, better at four balls? What would be the thinking behind, like, deploying guys in certain ways, would you say?
It's probably what you would just assume yourself, in that obviously four ball you're just playing your own ball, and foursomes it's every second shot. So foursomes, if you have somebody who makes mistakes a lot, you're probably going to lose that hole. So your ideal foursomes partner is, and you yourself, straight as you like, ball on a rope, fairways and greens, relentless, break the other team down. And then there's like the more, the less measurable things like chemistry. You need to be the type of personality who, for the other 51 weeks of the year and the whole of the year besides, where you need to be okay with the fact that your partner may let you down and hit a bad shot, because the rest of the time you're responsible for yourself. You're in complete control. Like, there's the famous example of Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson, when Mickelson was wayward off the tee, and I think might have been 04, famously against Monty and Harrington.
Yep.
Around that time anyway. And Phil's wild. So, like, he's a terrible foursomes. He's your worst nightmare as foursomes. And he just sends one into, like, the tree, you know, just a crazy spot. Tiger, very conservative golfer and, like, control freak and alpha, and doesn't much like Phil anyway. And just gave the dirtiest look. It's kind of gone down in Ryder Cup infamy. So, like, you need the soft skills of, like, don't worry about it. We'll get out of it. You know, that kind of, that team spirit. But I think primarily just mistake free. And then obviously four ball,
golf.
Your players who can go as not just golf, but like, you want a guy who goes low. You know, some guys can win on, like, you'd back them to win a tournament that's going to be who can make par. Whereas this isn't, four ball's not about who can make par, because you got to birdies to win holes. Phil Mickelson, out you go, aggressive as you like, go for it. It doesn't matter, Phil, if you make 3 bogeys and your partner picks up the slack with par, but then you go on a run of, you have it. Some players don't have it in them to go 6 birdies in 8 holes.
Yeah,
McIlroy does. Some players can go low.
With four ball, you have the luxury of, if you're really aggressive, you pair them with the more conservative player.
You can do that too.
To mitigate against a wild hole or two.
Yeah, and then that's in the nitty gritty, I suppose, of specifics. And like, if you had a brilliant foursomes player who was that accurate, metronomic, you might say, well, he's a bit short. Let's put him with a longer hitter who's also relatively straight, you know. And then in four ball, you know, you do all sorts of things like, listen, put Bryson with someone maybe who's a bit more steady, and so it's like, I'm going to find that fairway, you take on the green, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right. But it's fascinating. And but honestly, chemistry is a big part of it, just like vibes, and we like playing together, and we don't even make that much sense, but we just kind of work.
Especially in a foursome when you're literally a team. Like, whereas in four ball, it is more, theoretically, you are just playing your own ball. I know there's like maybe like covering someone's ass if they go off the rails on a hole, but then at the same time, foursomes, you literally have to like pick up the slack if it's a terrible shot.
Yeah, totally. Not since I realised I should have gone to the Oasis concert did I have a sense of regret like I did this morning when I realised as it was starting I was in work. What was I doing? I just wasn't thinking straight.
Looking at me and Will, and you could have been watching Ryder Cup.
Yeah, like as we speak, we're missing Ryder Cup. So the longer we talk, the more Ryder Cup we miss.
It's okay. I'm gonna go upstairs and get my Now TV sponsors the show, I guess. Bonus mention, and just, you know, you can skip back.
Yeah.
I'll just watch it.
So you're just going to go back to the start,
yeah,
and just pretend you haven't seen anything,
give or take. I don't know much about what's happened. I just know it's on. It's an amazing thing. So I've been to 2 of them, and that first tee experience, I think even if you don't love your golf, but certainly if you do like your golf, is really, it's special. Almost unique. There aren't many sports that start like before sunrise, you know. So like, you'll be there I don't know what time gates open, but I was at Gleneagles and I was in Paris for 14 and then 18. The gates could well open at 5, because tea time is usually 7. And everyone wants to have a good spot at the grandstand, so people just kind of go there. Now, they jazzed it up in France with like a DJ. It's like, what? Just stop doing
It's
it.
David Guetta.
Oh, I wouldn't know. It could have been.
I feel like maybe I just pulled that out of nowhere.
Yeah, no, it could be. So France went for like, we can't just let people be people. So they did the DJ thing. And fine, if you're into it, and I'm not a morning person, but Gleneagles, I will always remember. There was great pride with McGinley being captain, so that was an aspect to it, and you've McElroy and everything. How often have you seen the sunrise in the last 10 years of your life? I've seen it twice in Gleneagles and in Paris. And so you're there in the absolute darkness. It is the middle of the night and it's a big crowd. It's a very excited crowd. It's a completely sober crowd. And there's nothing to do except look. And in Gleneagles, you're looking at like goes on forever. And then there's mountains in the background and the sun is slowly coming up. There's nothing to do for like, so it's a really nice experience, kind of a hum. And then slowly but surely, different people come out. The vice captains might come out first. Harrington, huge cheer. Then McGinley comes out. Yeah, and you're going, come on! And then the first kind of group players come out, and then the boo, and it's highly recommended if you're into your golf at all. It's well worth going to a Ryder Cup. The only downside of then the viewing experience, like many golf tournaments, which are kind of not great, is you're either very lucky or you just have a constant sense of being in the wrong place at the wrong. What was that cheer over there? Why are we here? Because you're trying to guess where the big moments are going to come. And
You were working at those, were you?
yeah, but I mean, it was back in the days of radio and not much digital, so you didn't have much to do
Nice.
a lot of the time. You could really enjoy it and watch it. So that's difficult because there's only 4 matches on, so the crowds get deep around these matches, and yeah, you can just have this sense of, oh, that match seems to be. Will we try and go to that match? And it's like, okay, 25-minute walk. Oh no, actually, let's turn back.
That's an interesting difference to a regular golf tournament like a major, where like there's players playing across all 18 holes. It's 4 matches. Obviously, singles is different as 8. Or is there more? I'm trying to think of 12.
Yeah, it's just 4 matches.
Yeah.
Singles 12.
Yeah, 12. There's only 4 matches at once, so it must be very packed and concentrated.
You can almost tell by the noise where they are.
Yeah.
You can walk out and be like, where are they're that way. That kind of an aspect to it. It's great.
It's funny when you mentioned the 2 Ryder Cups you've been to, because you mentioned earlier when we were upstairs the importance of like that first session, setting the tone. Would it surprise you to know that in Gleneagles and in Rome, Europe lost the first session and still romped home?
Yeah, a little bit.
They lost 3-1, I think, both of them.
Would surprise me, yeah.
And they ended up hammering them.
It's funny. Yeah, it would surprise me.
Well, that's what happened. So
there you go. Good knowledge. Sorry, it's pretty boring. My strongest memory of Paris was we'd moved into the weekend Saturday, and so I had to do like the hourly or the half hourly updates bulletins, so I was kind of tied to the media centre, and so everyone's out in the course. There's no one at the driving range watching players hit or anything, but the driving range was right beside the media centre, and I kind of I've got 30 minutes till my next update. I'll go and get some air, and I saw just alone on the range was Phil Mickelson with his coach and his caddy, and I mean no one else. It's completely deserted because players are tired. They're not going to the range. It's not like a golf tournament where you're like, I'll go and practice after my round now. You're resting because you're playing a lot of sessions and you might be, you're back in and back out. So it's only Mickelson. There's not a single fan there, and it's his coach and his caddy, and then me. So I walk over, and I'm 10 to 15 yards away. Phil Mickelson could not hit the ball. He was in dire form. His game was shot. And I could feel him a few times, when he's looking down at the ball and his coach is in front of him, just at the corner of his eye, he's kind of looking down, but he's looking to see who's this other one person watching. Looks, doesn't think much of me, he's fine. And so he's all over the place. And with so few people, it became very intense. And he'd hit a bad shot. And then he looked at his coach. His coach wouldn't say much. Probably thinking, I can't give the wrong advice. Like, this is high stakes. Phil's playing in about an hour. And it's shot after shot. And, like, it was just bad. And I always remember Mickelson saying, no, we're gonna have to start over. We're gonna have to start over.
Get life.
Shut it down. Start over. But in the knowledge that starting over is not going to save him for when he tees off in half an hour, and he got pumped in all his matches, was terrible. But it was amazing to watch him. Like he was like a lamb to the slaughter, and he knew it.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? He's like, I'm doomed here. I don't have it. I don't have my game. I have to go out and do this. This is a nightmare. It was so tense. It was just awful. Nobody was talking. The caddy, not a word. Me, like after a while, I was like, I'm just gonna go. This isn't right.
About 5 minutes off the ball.
Yeah. yeah. That's a strong memory of it. So,
Yeah, well, that's
Anyway, in bits and news, just to mention, we won't dwell on this. FAI have made their pre-budget submission. Just, they're accused of, have they even gone to government? Have they done anything? So Dan McDonald had the story. It's an exclusive in the paper. It's on the website now. So basically what the FAI are asking of the government is to fund the academies. So they've put in a pre-budget submission, and for the first 2 years, they want about 4.5 million per annum. And that will create 81 new jobs and get the academy thing going. And then ultimately they wanted to get to 8 million a year. But for the first 2 years, just 4.5 million. They don't feel ready to take the 8 million yet. They don't have the infrastructure there. So 4.5 million for the first 2 years per year is what they're looking for. And then 8 million thereafter. And it's kind of a 10-year thing. And they figure, if this gets up and running between transfer fees and sell-on clauses and UEFA prize money, this thing will start to be a bit of an industry that's a little bit self-sufficient. Probably always needs some support, but that's what they're looking for from the government. Like, it's not much money. 4.5 million. The FAI are such an easy kind of pinata. The government love kicking them when they're down. Like, considering like biggest sport in some respects in the country, the best kids can't go to the UK. If the government can't find 4.5 million to just get the academies moving, we're in dire straits.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, and it is on that politicians, ministers want to be careful of as well, because it is an easy pinata to kick, but it is so popular. So as much as you might score a few points by saying something that you can clip up and stick on your social media account, you score more points in the long run if you're actually helping football and you're actually helping grassroots. And yeah, the amount of people playing, like you only have to go out on a Thursday night and see people, like especially even like these soccer teams all over the island, and they're just finding little patches of grass that's almost illuminating that the people will still play, but they're playing little patches of grass that they can find. And like the more help and the lack of, like, they're not asking for a lot of money, like you say. So anything like that that's going to get them on their way, and they've obviously got a plan in place here. I think this is a healthy step forward.
Yeah,
it's a lot of work to be done. What is it, 10 academies to create from scratch? That seems a big ask. Like, I know the money isn't. I agree with that point, and I agree with Colin's point, but how feasible is it to get up to create 10 academies from scratch? Like, is it and like have them functioning and working well? It'll be a long process. I know it's a 10 or 11 year period, I suppose. So maybe that's the idea, that it's not going to be like built in a day. But God, it seems a real tall order.
Yeah,
and like 11 years getting up to speed. I know they're not saying 11 years to get up to speed, but say it is tricky. What's that going to mean for the international side?
Can't get any worse. So.
Well, okay, fair point. Yeah,
like
yeah.
But the thing, it's almost.
but we'll be losing to the likes of Armenia.
Yeah. But isn't it unfair that that's the barometer that we sort of judge the FAI and any of the funding on? Like, what's the international team going to be like? Because if this was GAA, all we talk about is the cultural richness and the significance of more playing numbers and more people getting involved in clubs. Whereas the FAI, it's like, yeah, but is that going to filter up? Are we going to see us beating Armenia in a few years' time? Rather than just like, look how much better the facilities are, look how many more players there are, look how happier they are, look at the cultural significance.
But its express aim is a professional. It's to get players playing international football and playing professional soccer. It's not just to get guys playing soccer or girls playing soccer. It's literally to build professionals. Yeah,
but like, the more people play and the better things are at the bottom, then obviously it'll filter.
That's
up.
true.
Dion made a point on one of the Friday panels when you were sadly missing, Joe, but
he much celebrated.
Yeah, much celebrated Dion, but he was doubting. He doesn't think we should have as many academies and they should just centralise it a bit more. He reckons there's not enough players to go around and not enough specialised equipment and
like
coaches.
Lilla Shaw type thing.
Yeah.
I'd be under that argument in a country this small. Or maybe two of them. I don't know.
Provincial, I don't know.
Maybe provincial. Yeah, it's tough. You know.
I'm not even sure what number.
Travel.
Was there a specific number of academies given? I don't even know. Yeah. Is it like every Premier Division club?
I
Yeah.
thought that was the case. We can get into the nitty gritty with Dan
exactly.
around budget time. GAA All-Star nominations for the football have been announced. So this is not nominations, not All-Star awards. So quite a lot of players are announced. And Donegal lead the way with 10 nominees. Kerry 9, Meath 5, Armagh 5, Louth 3, on we go, Galway 3, Dublin 2, Derry Mayo 1, Down 1. 3 Kerry forwards got nominated. Clifford, Pawdy, Clifford, Sean O'Shea. I don't have much to say about this.
What do you think of Donegal getting more nominations than Kerry?
I think no big deal whatsoever. And you know what, actually, I think credit to them for not worrying about who plays for who and having this thing of, well, but like Kerry won the All-Ireland, they should have more nominees. Because, like, you know, every individual award you can think of, Ballon d'Or, you know, PSG don't win the Champions League, does Dembele get it? No. I think too many individual awards in team sports are swayed by how the team did. So I think credit to them for actually saying, no, we're just going to pick them. Oh, will we look foolish now that Donegal have more than Kerry?
Yeah.
Credit them for not worrying about that.
I would agree if it wasn't down to like the 10th best player in Donegal. You know, like, do you need that many? Like, if you're getting down to the last third of Donegal players, then
who you drive by and on then?
I would look there. Ryan McHugh's doing very well for himself. Love Ryan McHugh. Amazing career, amazing serving for Donegal. I think he was worthy of an All-Star nomination this year. And I would just, I get it, and I imagine if you're on an All-Star committee, you're prepared for all this, and you're prepared for people like me coming out and whinging no matter what they do after they announce them. But I would second guess that as well. I would just say, you know, look, we actually have one more player. Donegal got hammered by Kerry in the final. Kerry was obviously then a much better team. Doesn't mean if you had a better year, game by game by game by game. I get it, but would you not just save yourself the headache, over the head?
That's why I admire them.
It's only nominations, though. It's not the actual team selection, which is very different.
They haven't saved themselves the headache. I think good on them, actually, because they've left themselves open to a very easy criticism.
Yeah, which I think they have done by putting in Donegal's 10th best player. If this was 7 and 6, then I would see the value in it.
I see. Okay.
I think you should cap this anyway. Like, I think the nomination should be capped at 8, because once you're getting into the second half of the team, I mean, should you really be considered as an All-Star? I mean, you've won your All-Ireland, you've Donegal, you've won your Ulster, you got to the All-Ireland final. Nobody's going to raise an eyebrow that the 9th best player in Donegal isn't nominated for an All-Star.
It's also such a kind of distorted picture, because obviously, like, Donegal's season was just endless. Whereas Kerry had to... Was Armagh in the semi-final?
Quarterfinal. See, Kerry had to beat Cavan in the preliminary quarterfinal, then Armagh, then Tyrone, then Donegal.
Oh, I forgot the Tyrone game. I just remember them for the Armagh game.
Well, that's when their season started. Like, they got hammered by Meath in the round robin as well.
And I don't remember the Tyrone game especially well.
They won well. It was
handy. So, and then the All-Ireland final, they won, well. So I can see, like, phenomenal, but like what the Donegal players had to do.
Yeah.
Well, Kerry will get more All-Stars. That's the more important metric. Like this, no one kind of tots up nomination. Only once ever has a team won the All-Ireland and not had the most All-Stars ever.
What was that?
In 1991, Meath got more than down. Meath played Dublin 4 times, and it was obviously very eye-catching long summer.
Brilliant. But that's the way it should be.
Every other time in the history of Gaelic games, All-Stars and football, the team who's won the All-Ireland has either had tied most or the most outright.
There's too much weight given to winning the All-Ireland. That Meath one's a perfect example, because for that season, those players, those 4 games, they had a better season.
That's the only time the selectors have actually said that.
That's right, yeah. Because down players, not their fault. They weren't given the opportunity to have as big a season as Meath players, because the All-Ireland's unfair, and
To be fair, in 2010, Cork and Down both had 5, and the team was very scattered because it was a strange year. All 4 provincial champions lost in the quarterfinals, and they ended up kind of splitting it amongst a lot of people, which is probably, if you were taking a helicopter view, how it should do. It, as you said, it's very weighted towards the winners.
Very weighted, yeah.
Which it should be way less weighted now, because there's far more games and far more important games.
Are you into it? I'm not the man for this chat, because I just think I couldn't care less. I can't. I will barely look at it when it comes out. I mean, barely.
Really?
Ah,
I think it's great. Like I think it's very important. Like I remember when Derry won those 2 Ulsters. Like I remember the stats clearly. When one night they got 4 All-Stars, and it was huge amongst Derry people. And their
sure.
their number of All-Stars in their history went from 29 players to 33.
Amazing,
overnight.
amazing. But like as a neutral, as a Kildare man in this fight, how many nominees? What? I won't even. I'll give the team a glance
I'm surprised that you,
and not a second thought.
a Lions man that you are. Like this is the same honour, except you're just not going on a third. Well, you are going on a third, but nobody
No,
cares.
no,
about
sorry.
it.
If they were playing an international match, I would.
I think it's a great historical measurement of players, and you can see over time. Like John Milan has 5 All-Stars. Like that tells me as much of what he was like as a player than if he had won 1 All-Ireland with Waterford. You know what I mean? Like, there's a good measure. I think it's a good way of measuring different players. Like myself and Ronan were chatting about Patrick Horgan, who actually retired recently, and him and John Milan. And I said, "Well, Milan has more All-Stars." Like Ronan was like, "I think Horgan was definitely better." I was like, "Well, Milan has more All-Stars." Not that that's the be-all and end-all.
Yeah, but this is the beauty of All-Star chat. I mean, it's so nuanced because I love it. I agree. I think it's a great honour, and we should look back on it historically. But I do think it's an unfair measurement as well for all the things that we're saying, and this is why I think it should be capped at maybe 8 nominations, 5 winners. Because again, if you're getting 5 players from your team in the All-Star, like the 6th player is not going to care as much. I wasn't in the top 5 players in my team this year. I don't deserve an All-Star.
No, but it's very possible that 6th player was by a distance the best in his position and is getting screwed.
It is very possible, yeah. But like again, I think people would accept that. I think it would be better and healthier in the long run if we accepted the 6th best player in that team wasn't getting one.
But then, so say the goalkeeper is the 6th best player in the team. And everyone knows he's the best goalkeeper, but he doesn't make the All-Star because he's not he's the 6th best. And then imagine you're getting an All-Star because of like some weird parameter we put on it. How hollow is that? I think you got to open it up and just let them pick.
In terms of the weird parameters, though, I would look at like Will said about Milan has 5 All-Stars, but I look at Paddy Bradley has 1. That's nonsense.
I knew you'd managed.
But like that's real, and everybody will have that in their own county.
Milan's operating in a pond compared to Bradley's.
But Bradley, I remember bringing this up with Will before, and then he was surprised when he went through the stats that Bradley was, oh, geez, he's a top scorer from Ulster until McManus and Murphy come along. Ever. But this is what he's having to deal with, even though Derry were the most successful qualifier team. So he did play a lot of games.
Let's make this bigger than Paddy Bradley.
When you look, I think
unbelievable. By the way. Unbelievable.
The real sea change in All-Star selections, I think, happened around the backdoor area. If you go pre-backdoor when it was the provincial structure, there was a much better cross section. You had players from Kevin O'Brien won an All-Star for Wicklow, I think in the early 90s. It wasn't so slavishly beholden to the semi-finalists and finalists.
Yeah. It's probably excessive weighting. I know, like big games, big players, true test, but you have to take into account that a Matty Ford just won't get the opportunity to do it on a big stage. And if he was in a team good enough to make an All-Ireland final, he would perform.
Well, he won an All-Star in 2004, and that's like that tells me that he was able to rise above the barriers for a player in a smaller county and win it. Like Declan Brown has 2. Like these things, I think, are historically important to track and to. I think to discuss. So I'm like Conor. I'm a big All-Star person.
Well, just because Will mentioned 2004, like Paddy Bradley should have won one in 2004, but because Enda Muldoon,
have we not moved on this?
Because Enda Muldoon got one in 2004, they decided, well, that's Derry's quota. We can't.
We only have space for one Derry man.
Yeah. Patrick Horgan. I had been due to mention him. So 37 in May. 4 All-Ireland final defeats. That's tough, isn't it? It is tough.
Do you think it's a weird time to go out, like when they're so close?
37 in May.
Yeah.
And do that.
Would he even brought back?
How close does he feel right now after that defeat, I wonder? An All-Star 4 times in 18 seasons. Not much, is it? It's not.
Well, 4 All-Stars, yeah. It's
considering. Like
Cork weren't great in a lot of those years.
That's the problem.
He kind of came along just after the 2 in a row team, and it was a while before they got back into the.
Yeah. He would have thought he scored the winning point. I was at the game. I remember it well in the drawn final against Clare. Alas, late equaliser. Yeah. His 18 years coincided with Cork's longest winless streak in the history of the All-Ireland Championship. He is their Kieran Whelan.
That's what I'm worried about, that he'll bow out now and then Cork finally get over the line.
Wow.
He's bowed out. He come in just after 2005. I know he came in 2008, but he was a minor in 2005 when they win it.
Yeah.
And he's going to bow out potentially the year before they win it again.
That would be brutal. I actually hope for his sake Cork don't win an Ireland for at least 5 years.
It does seem to be essential that Ben O'Connor might have not brought him back in this new era.
Okay.
That like perhaps his time was done, regardless. I think some Cork supporters have that view.
Okay. That's us done. That was the week that was. A couple of interesting things lined up for next week, as well as, I'm sure, looking back on the Ryder Cup, URC maybe, Premier League.
A few interesting bits.
Bobs. Conan, thank you. Ronan Mullen back next week as well. So a few things to talk to him about.
Might have another holiday planned.
Yeah. He needs a break. All right, everyone. Thank you.